Part 1 of our history lesson, Where the Web Development Industry Began. In professional sports, it is referred to as being a student of the game. To know where you're going to take it, you need to know where it's been. The web development industry is young relative to other industries, yet it has matured at a much more rapid pace than many others. Knowing the backstory not only helps us to understand why architecture advancements and decisions are made today, but also provides opportunities for discussion and resonation with web development veterans, whom we will be working with as we enter the industry. Alright, let's fire up the DeLorean, or TARDIS, or hot tub, whatever our time machine of choice is, and head back in time. Back when the web itself was young, and very few businesses even understood how it worked and what purpose it served, let alone had any inkling that they needed a presence online. Front-end web development wasn't anywhere close to being an actual career. People were starting to learn to build for the web, but they weren't really getting paid much, if anything, to do so. The market just wasn't there yet. Part of this was due to the lack of understanding of the power of the web and what it could become. Businesses and individuals needed to be educated on it. The other part was that there wasn't a good story for the material to teach them about it. The web itself was raw and untapped. As far as consuming content from the web, end users didn't have many great options. The story to get online involved signing up with an internet service provider, or ISP for short, receiving an install disk that either had Netscape Navigator or an application for configuring Internet Explorer, and waiting for a modem to log in each time you wanted to do anything online. A user would need to be highly tech savvy to even consider trying to use some other browser. Heck, most of these browser installs or configurations from these ISPs came with some customization or toolbar that changed the operation of the browser to a more proprietary experience tailored around that ISP's branding and other services. Browser rendering engines were raw as well. HTML and CSS specs were in their infancy. JavaScript was, well, it was this frightening black hole that most were afraid to explore for fear of unleashing some great evil that would wreak havoc and destroy everything on the page and possibly the end user's machine. And tables? Tables were the backbone of every design. Yep, table. TRs, TD, even T-bodies were the kings of the court. Grid layouts? Well, they were table grids, minus the flow part. Building for the web at that point in history meant playing around in these gated communities and adhering to their rules. It was rough. Domain name registration was expensive. Competition in the domain registrar space was non-existent, so rates were high. To get website files deployed to a server, FTP was used. Yeah, FTP. Developers would have to manually push files to a web server. Version control of project files and resources basically consisted of the fact that a developer would have a copy of the files on their machine and a copy on the web server. From the front-end development side of things, the creation side story was just as raw. There was no advanced text editors or integrated development environments. There were basic text editors like Notepad and VI. A few players started to come into the mix, with the attempt to bring some drag-and-drop building experiences, applications like FrontPage and Dreamweaver. These were a start in the right direction, a start for the front-end web development tool industry. In the next clip, we will cover the rise in demand for a web presence and what it meant for the web development industry.